are you using daily huddles to manage the information through your firm, or if especially if you're not using timesheets or looking at that, how are you managing the team accountability and transparency?
So for me, we use like old-fashioned people management, right? We talk to them. Imagine that. In a CPA firm, we actually talk to our team members and we find out where they're at, what's going on, kind of a check-in. I wouldn't call it necessarily a huddle. I know people like actually stand up and huddle around together. We have remote employees, so we'll call them on the phone and we check in with them. But I mean, firms at their core are people, and how do you manage people? And managing people with a timesheet is not managing people.
Okay, and do you have a cadence for those check-ins, or is it dependent on if something's starting to fall behind and you have a tracking system in place and you see that, then you check in, or is there more of a recurring cadence?
Well, we have we check in on workflow issues, I'll say daily, but we have a weekly team meeting and then we just talk, right? So, and I think that's one of the biggest things that firms who use timesheets don't do, right? I think they think that everything's being managed by time, and time is not managing people. It's just keeping track of something that's irrelevant.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting that part of this process is making sure you have a communication structure and they can give you feedback on how things are introduced. Tim, do you have a similar kind of cadence? It's weekly. Do you have a daily huddle? How do you manage accountability and transparency in kind of that initiative of not having a timesheet?
Sure. A couple things come into play, and one of those things is what brought you and I together, and that's having a great workflow system like Jetpack in place, so that you're tracking all your tasks, you've got your due dates, you've got, so you automatically you understand what the workload looks like and the assignments that you've given to your teammates. And going back to what Jody talks about is, yes, communicating with everybody is most important. We're a 20-person firm spread out all over the country, with Rochester, New York, San Ramon, California, Charleston, South Carolina. So we take advantage of technology and we talk to each other. Our primary method of communication when we're communicating with our other offices is video conferencing. We've got the tools where we can share screens and look at workloads and those types of things. So nothing replaces good communication. And as it relates to a particular type of cadence, my managers have weekly check-in meetings with the rest of the staff to monitor workloads and due dates and make sure that nothing's going to spin out of control. Let me just share a real-life situation. A couple of years ago, as we were growing, and we were growing pretty rapidly, the managers were holding these meetings just during the busy season. And then we'd hit June, July, August, and then you hunker down when you get to the October or the September filing for corporates, October filing for individuals, but it felt like we were losing control. They have all year long. They have the weekly check-in meetings with the staff.